I grew up poor on a farm in Wrightsville, Georgia, a small town in rural middle Georgia. I really had a normal childhood, spent most days on a farm, walking along unpaved roads, alongside plowed fields, lonely country roads, and man-made ponds. There were plenty of times I would poke my feet in the water as I breathed in the summer breezes. It was an idyllic way of living in a rural community. Within the community, you always had your village, where everyone would offer you food, make sure you were okay. A slow, fun, active life as a child, teenager, and young adult was idyllic. Both my parents were migrant workers, and as you can imagine what all that entailed. Living in that rural farming community, I honestly didn't have a care or worry in the world. Being isolated, I guess I was protected from the ills of the world. I was really lucky.
How did you get started in art?
My first real introduction to art was through photography, actually in high school. I was an assistant of a friend's mother who worked at our local newspaper. As you can imagine, being a mother of 3 boys, she needed some help with taking photos of the out-of-town games. As you can imagine, as a mother, having to travel out of town late on a Friday night would be challenging. So she offered me the job, and I was eager and excited to learn and to travel to surrounding counties. It was fun riding on the bus with the sports teams in the band. Throughout high school, as a tennis player, I always enjoyed our out-of-town trips. I took photos of the sports team in action, at play, on and off the field, or just some candid shots. But in 1990, I moved to Savannah, Georgia. Being introduced to the Savannah College of Art and Design really catapulted my interest in art. Initially, I lived my life vicariously through my friends, who were students, alumni, staff, faculty. Initially, I was very much so an observer. I attended endless number of art receptions, openings, lectures, film screening, and so much more. Not only did I attend art receptions, I attended other receptions, showcases, singer shows, group shows from every major that my friends were involved in.
What artists or movements have influenced your work the most?
I get asked that question a lot. As an abstract painter, I guess I identify with that movement, the abstract movement, because of the freedom a creative has in being an artist. But per my creative process, I'm not influenced, I don't think, by any artist or movement. Because when I create a work of art, I don't usually have an idea in mind. I just start creating. Throughout this interview, you may hear me say this 100 times. I just pour paint on a canvas and see what happens. For me, it's not about something I envision ahead of time, but something I search for in the end, or going through the creative process. For me, art is a journey to discover the unknown. I think it's a process to inform you of something that you need to know, or something you were not seeking, but needed to know in the end. While creating a work of art, the banter I have with myself is really cathartic. I wish you could experience those moments with me. The moments I've identified with an organic shape or an abstract figure, it triggers a memory or enlightens me. And this is my drug of choice, being a creative. I need to have that interaction with those inanimate objects that vividly paints a whole world for me to explore and to share with others.
How does living in Savannah influence your art?
I don't think it necessarily has influenced my art in the way I create, but living here is where I certainly have found my life passion as an artist. Living and being in an artistic environment that has inspired me tremendously. Being exposed to a never-ending supply of multi-talented creatives, here's a treasure. I immerse myself into the art scene each and every day.
Can you walk us through your creative process?
When I create a work of art, I'll choose a color scheme based on colors I like to wear together, or perhaps choose a color scheme from packaging. I love a pretty package that's attention grabbing and colorful. Whether my choice is very bold and using a multi-array of colors or my go-to color scheme, black and white, I'm always eager and excited to get started. I mix my acrylic paint in used bottles that I don't discard. I am conscious of my footprint on the earth, so I typically use my Powerade bottles, Dr. Bronner soap bottles, or Smart Water bottles to mix my paint in. I always aim to get a milk consistency, but the viscosity varies, which makes for an interesting composition in the end. When creating a work of art, I lay my canvases flat on a flat surface. I then start to build my layers upon layers. After the first few pours, I then start to think about how heavily layered I want it to be or how minimal I want it to be. But in reality, the painting tells me. I always know when the painting is finished. In the 20 years of being an artist, luckily, there's only been a couple of times when I didn't listen to my intuition, and certainly each and every time I have regretted it.
Are there particular subjects or stories you feel compelled to express through your art?
I quite often touch base on the heavy subject matters because I really think they make you stop and think. But certainly universality, race, racism, religion, pain, heartbreak, heartache, but also the light-hearted ones too. Love, happiness, inspiration, motivation.
How important is the local art community to you?
The local art community is very important to me. I try to be involved with several different artists or art organizations. We all can use a helping hand from time to time, supporting one another with setting up, breaking down, or having someone to transport your art or you transport theirs. It's always a welcome and needed opportunity. Sharing resources, supplies, opportunities, informing an artist of an upcoming artist residency, competition, or call for entry, and especially putting an artist in touch with a potential collector whom you like, whom you know that they would like their style of work.
Are there local artists you collaborate with?
Not yet, but recently someone had asked me about collaborating, and this is a very timely question. So stay tuned for details.
What challenges have you faced as an artist, and how have you overcome them?
The biggest challenge is not having a proper studio space to create. I often have to worry about setting up and breaking down, cleaning up after I create my work. There have been moments where I've had to share my bed with a canvas or had to spread them all over my bedroom floor. And most recently, I've had to move to the couch because I had to utilize my entire bed as my workspace to put a large canvases on, actually the ones that you see behind me here in the video. Currently, for me, affording a place to create and a place to stay is just not affordable. It's either one or the other. It is my hope that some local developers will truly invest in us local artists here. I hope that they will build a structure that houses artists. I envision a hotel-like structure or some pared-down apartment complex structure that's geared towards an artist. All we need is an efficiency to live in a room to create in. Perhaps a shared gallery space and a shared outdoor space would be ideal. And also being able to showcase my work outside of Savannah, which will require additional expenses. But I do know that's something that needs to happen, and it will happen very soon. I'll just have to make it work. Having to have a day job to pay the bills or on top of creating art is a challenge. People don't realize the stress of working in a structured job setting instead of being a creative where you're spontaneous throughout the day. It does take a toll on your mental well-being. In what other profession that you don't get paid each and every day. Another challenge is selling your art. An artist can create a painting every day or every week for a year and not sell anything. Can you imagine the mental toll that takes on one's psyche? In fact, I didn't sell my first painting until 5 years after I created my first painting. Thankfully, I sold my first painting to my sister, Nanette. Thank you, Nanette. And as they say, the rest is history. I like to think she's responsible for my art career. I'm giving you credit.
That is sweet. What projects are you currently working on, and what can we look forward to in the future?
I'm going to continue what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing. I want to create a series of works that I've started but haven't made an entire collection yet. I'm going to start creating larger works of art. I will be applying to more art competitions, more art residencies, although I've applied to 1 or 2, but I will seek out more in the very near future.
What does being an artist mean to you?
Being an artist means living. I now know that I cannot live without creating art. Because in 2005, when my mother passed away, I became an artist. I believe that the universe closed one door in my life, but opened another one for me to walk through. And luckily, I've been able to take advantage of that and have made painted a path for my future as an artist. As an artist, I really have found my lifelong passion.
If you could give advice to aspiring artists, what would it be?
Create, create, create. Although it's not difficult to worry about the hard stuff that goes along with being an artist, just keep creating and it will all work out in the end. You have to have art that's made for people to eventually notice. Those lows you may experience if you must go it alone will be difficult, but keep on going. Take advantage of social media, it's free. Remember, if you don't have a brick and mortar space, social media is your brick and mortar space. If you do, social media is your second location. Utilize it each and every day. Posting on social media is just the same as you putting a key to unlock your brick and mortar space to show people what you have to sell today. Just like opening the door to your business every day, posting is that important. Even if you feel you're not ready or qualified, do it anyway. Enter those art competitions and artist residencies. Don't wait 20 years later.
What does it mean to you to have an exhibition at the Beach Institute?
Given its rich history, it is a privilege. As Savannah's African American Cultural Center, it's reassuring to know that art is included within its history storytelling and part of its permanent collection. As art cements, documents, and records history, it cannot be forgotten to be a vital part of our cultural and historic institutions. A few years ago, I donated a painting to the Beach Institute, knowing that I am now part of their legacy. It's a moment I'll be proud of for the rest of my life. But most importantly, as a Black abstract artist, sometimes we're left out of the mix and we have to pave our way and share that history. Because quite often with African American art, there may be something that's indicative of an African American in that work of art. But as an abstract painter in abstract art, there may not be. So that's why an abstract artist needs to put their feet in every door. We must make sure we get recognized.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
It's been a joy chatting with you. Thank you so much for sharing. I hope that, wait a minute. When is that collection going to be shown?
Well, I'm the November 2025 Artist of the Month at the Beach Institute. The opening is November 1st from 4 to 6 p.m. And the Artist Talk is November 22nd at 2 p.m. So I'll see you at the show.
Can't wait. Thank you again.
Thank you, Cherie, for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.